As Chris Bascom in the Telegraph said this morning, Everton's managerial search descended into farce last night. Front-runner Vitor Pereira made his pitch for the vacant post in a live television interview.
But that's not true, is it really? And I also read the similar article in the Mail by Dominic King about the fact it's turning into a farce. What's happening at Everton is they're going through a selection process. What's really happened is that when you leave a vacuum of leadership, you leave other people to fill that space with noise. And Moshiri has allowed a situation to develop where he has made managerial appointments with the best intentions behind them that have been ill-advised. His team is in decline, and for all the good that he's trying to do with inordinate amounts of money and the acquisition of stadium opportunities to move this club, he now finds himself in a vilified position. The target of people's ire is Bill Kenwright, and I think that's slightly unfair, not because Bill Kenwright's my mate, because believe me and trust me, when it comes down to people making decisions, the person with the money makes the decisions.
Yeah.
And Moshiri's the man with the money, so he's the one that's worthy of people's distaste or irritation. But the bottom line is what we saw yesterday was a manager doing possibly an ill-advised interview. There was nothing contentious in what he said. You just wonder why he felt the need to do it.
You ever known that when you've interviewed someone for a job at, say, at Palace, and then suddenly he pitches up in some
You'll never be surprised by
channel.
the length and breadth of the stupidity of what certain football people will think is the right thing to do at times.
Yeah.
But we do live in a media age. We do live in 24-hour rolling media that wants to get to the ins and outs of every aspect of it. And football has become more about entertainment sometimes than it has actually become about other things. So part and parcel of it is a media circus. So it has slightly changed, and football managers now do their weekly press conferences. They're expected to comment on every aspect of the world sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising to me. I think it's ill-advised because it gives people an opportunity to ridicule it and write such articles where it's turned into a farce. Why is it turned into a farce? All the guy talked about was his credentials, how the interview went. It might be precipitous. It might be something that people would say is not the greatest look. But I don't think he said anything particularly ridiculous.
No, would it annoy you? I mean, will it have annoyed Moshiri that Pereira has done that?
No, will it annoy him? Only if he was going to employ him and he told him not to speak to the media in the meantime.
Right.
Clearly the fact that they were doing a selection process of a variety of different candidates puts this as one guy amongst the mix.
Yeah.
Now, he may have eliminated himself because what Moshiri may do, or anyone else that's around Moshiri might think that's not really very clever thinking. You'd have been better advised to keep your own counsel. I understand why the guy's done it. There's two kinds of conversation, one that was initiated by the media and one that was initiated by him. If he initiated the contact with Sky, who were basking in their own glory of having got this particular interview, then I think he's foolish. If he was contacted by Sky, I think his judgment is flawed to have done it. But when I listened to the interview and I saw the furore, I thought to myself, well, there's, in this 24-hour cycle of news that we want, in this goldfish bowl of managers, everyone knows who's going where, when, and what, why, and how. A week ago, we were reporting the fact that Wayne Rooney had been for an interview, and he hadn't. Right, so we are now dealing with someone that has been with an interview. We are in desperate pursuit of news. So he made probably...
Not desperate, we're in pursuit of news, that's our job.
No, we're in a desperate pursuit of news.
Dobbed on the walls last night, Pereira out, Lampard in.
Well, we are, as a media, in a desperate pursuit of news. Whether it's talking about a birthday cake for a Prime Minister or whether it's talking about a manager that's got a job, we are. That's how we feel content, because content's here to be filled all the time. So it's not. I'm not degrading us, I'm saying it's a simple fact.
Yeah.
So we get this news, and now we're turning it on its head and saying, let's use that news to make a farcical representation of how Moshiri. It's like the situation yesterday when we were talking about the guy at Middlesex and Sky got Asim Rafiq on to pitch against him. It creates content.
Sure.
So in this instance, I think that should it eliminate him from the job is the bigger question. I think it probably will, because they'll think maybe that wasn't the most sensible thing to do. So if you're not sensible before you get in the door,
right,
what are you going to be like when you actually get in the door?
Well, this is what Pereira said. I mean, he said he's never quite seen anything like this. He didn't expect the uproar amongst a certain section of the Everton fans that he indeed was one of the candidates. As I said, Dobbed on the walls last night, Pereira out, Lampard in.
Yeah.
And asked if he was upset by that response, Pereira apparently said, of course, because this is the first time in my career I've seen this kind of thing and comments about me. My CV speaks for itself. Some of the critics don't know me. They don't know me as a person or my work. So I don't take it as a personal attack.
Well, okay, but if you weren't prepared for this landscape, then you should do your research to know what the English Premier League looks like and what English fans operate and what level they operate with intensity. Also, understand the temperature of the room that you are seeking to acclimatise yourself to.
Yeah, but he's done nothing to upset them.
No, he hasn't. But what they and whether fans have the right to tell the board which manager they do and don't choose is a different discussion.
Do they have the right?
Well, they have the right, and if the owner wants to listen to it, that's his prerogative.
And should Moshiri listen?
Well, Moshiri has to make a decision. And ultimately, he's the one making the decision. You can't run a business by a democracy. You have to run it with an autocratic view and hope that people buy into that vantage point. I'm not saying you have to be a tyrant.
Yeah.
I'm saying that he's going to make the decision, live and die by it. And he's earned himself a moniker now as an absentee landlord, a Johnny Splatter cash that doesn't know what he's doing, with a group of people that he's employing that aren't representing the values of the club, and the team are underperforming. So he's earned all of that. He hasn't tried to earn that. His £500 million that he's spent, or in those realms, isn't the kind of money that you would think someone spends and then gets vilified for. But this is English football. And of course, the temperature of English football right now, after the European Super League and after people coming back from lockdowns, is very, very near the knuckle. So I don't think it's the gift of fans to sit there demonstrating about a manager's credentials, but they have their right to have their view.
Well, let's pop it out there. Were you one of the fans who gathered at Goodison last night saying Pereira out, Lampard in? Pereira isn't in to be out. So how can it be out?
In, out.
Give us a call on that, 03717 223344. And as regards the front runner, the reported front runner, Frank Lampard, is there more for Lampard to lose rather than gain at this particular time regarding this job? 03717 223344. Were you there last night? Were you demonstrating? And why were you demonstrating at this fella Vitor Pereira when you don't even know if he's going to get the job or not? You can message me at 81089.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.